everyone. I realize I've been the guy behind the camera, so you're probably like, why is this dude hosting the thing? If you don't know, I have a podcast called the Duke London Podcast. So this is... that would have been your cue, but it's fine.
Duke London.
Oh, and we're technically recording an episode right now. This is the first live episode that we've done ever.
Oh.
And I chose to do it at Kieran's event. Yeah, so obviously for everybody listening at home, we are at Litefest 2021. Did you name it that, or did you name it like Litefest 3 or something? Litefest 21, haven't decided yet, we'll see. It's the fourth Litefest. So Litefest 4, we're at Swindon Dance, and I've got the 3 judges with me. We're gonna have a little chat. We're at the end of day 1 of a 2-day event of Litefest. So today we've had the prelims, we had the top 16 and the top 8 in solos, the top 8 in duos, and the showcases. Cool. Well, thank you everyone for being here. And later on, we're gonna do audience questions. So have a think if there's anything you wanna ask the judges. I would suggest maybe stuff that you haven't heard them talk about or things that you've always wanted to know. Can be about them, can be about Litefeet in general. Their opinions on stuff is always good. What do you think of this or that? Because I know it's hard to think of questions randomly. So have a think. What's up, everyone? Do you guys want to introduce yourself one by one? We'll start at the end. No, just who you are, what you're doing here.
Okay.
Why you're qualified to judge.
I just put myself in. My name's Kieran Warner, aka King K. Litefest is my baby. Trying to build the scene in the community. First in the UK, then Europe, and now internationally worldwide. And that is why I'm here.
Hi. They just found me outside, and I don't know why I'm sitting here. No, I'm joking. I'm Yuji. If you watch anime and you watch Naruto, he's Naruto, and I'm Sasuke. I do lots of Litefeet stuff in the underground, so you probably haven't seen me, maybe. But if you have, then hi. So yeah, I've been doing Litefeet for a couple years. I'm Yuji.
Y'all know what's going on around these parts. It's your boy. The one and only, from New York, the Bronx to be exact. Y'all know the vibes. Brotherhood Zone, Mr. YouTube, one of the creators, innovators of the style Litefeet. Love you guys, yeah.
Sick.
I had to...
Go.
I used to look up to him.
Oh, you don't look up to me? Oh, okay. I had to put my good telephone voice on for y'all real quick, you know.
So let's talk about today's event. So obviously we haven't got through to the finals and the semi-finals yet, so you don't need to give too much away in terms of like how you're judging and stuff. But generally, what did you guys think of the battles today? What were highlights for you? What did you enjoy? Just a general thoughts.
We were already just talking about it. So this is a smaller Litefest than we've done previously because a lot of the international guests obviously can't make it right now. But what's been really great is it's given a chance for people who may not have made it to the battles to get into the battles, and then we can see the other side of them. So like, for example, Liana, wherever she's gone, like, in the beginning, we're like, do another round. Oh, yes, you're right here. We're like, we needed to see an extra round, And then all of a sudden, it was like, bang, in our face, and exactly what we all knew you had and what we wanted to see. So that's probably been the best part of this edition.
That was my thing.
And obviously, something I noticed, because you guys, you don't have international people here really this year because of the travel restrictions. And the thing, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the demographic of people doing Litefest in the Litefeet in the UK are not really London people. Is that true? That it's more overall more outside of London than in London?
It's a combination of the entire UK. We have people from Scotland here. We have people from different parts of England, and of course we have Ireland here. So I think that's the most important thing. And then, of course, spreading out to other parts of Europe. The thing that really inspired me to believe in the direction that not just Litefest but Litefeet is going is 2019 when I was I was just a battle guest. I didn't have any like bookings or teaching, wasn't teaching much here in the UK at that time. So being able to see all of the different cultures and different places from not just in the UK, but like there was a lot of dancers from America that came. So moving forward, like past the pandemic, to even just be here and be a part of this was just something special because not everybody can make it, even though there's a ton of people that like literally want to be here and be a part of it. And the level is still high, and we're building future superstars. That's what it's about, right? Yeah. No.
I think as well, with the other styles that are older, they've been here longer, so there's good people in different areas, and obviously where there's good people, there's other people being influenced by them who obviously get good as well, and then there's events happening because of that. Obviously London being a hub already, it's the capital, so lots of stuff's happening there. With Litefeet, it was fresh, so it was almost like, who wants it? And then people from every nook and cranny came out like, oh, we'll try that. And so the scene's been able to grow everywhere equally in a way. So there are London Litefeet dancers. Yeah,
sure, of course.
But just because there's not as many as there are in other styles, it seems like there's not. But actually, there's probably as many in London as there are in other spots.
I would say, like, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but the majority, if you total them up like outside of London or in London, the majority is outside of London, right? Whereas if you look at like popping or hip hop, I would say the majority of dancers are in London, regardless of level. Yeah. But why do you think that it's
not to forget about Wales too. Wales, like
yeah.
See, I'm more UK than these guys.
We didn't forget about you guys. Yeah, Yuji, because you're London based. So do you feel like it's just a case that people from outside of London are like wanting something fresh, so that's why, like what Kieran was saying? Or do you think there's something, what's going on with the Litefeet scene in London? Because obviously there's strong dancers and there's strong Litefeet dancers from London.
Do we have anybody from London here?
And that's my point proven.
You don't even
there's
do
3
Litefeet.
people.
Put your hand down. Oh my goodness.
And so, Yuji, do you think it's something that is like, there's like the culture is yet to be embraced as fully in London, or do you just think it's like it's just a random chance thing? Do you think it's something?
Usually, before you go, shout out to Birmingham too, yeah, in the building.
He's just trying to get follows.
Our resident England.
Make sure y'all all follow me. Them young gents out there thugging and bugging, they wilding. They out there thugging and bugging and wilding. I'm telling you, they caught me lacking one time. It was just me and Duracell. They tried to jump us, but it was good. It was fun.
How did we get here?
It was fun. Just some background stories from Mr. YouTube.
Go for it, Yuji.
All right, so you're right. I think the London culture, the London scene has yet to embrace the culture of Litefeet properly because they have too much to choose from. Whereas everybody else is like, okay, we have that, we have that, we have that, and we have this. Okay, that looks interesting. Whereas everybody in London is like, we have this. What do we choose?
Yeah,
everything
so only
is
a small portion.
You know what I'm saying? Like everything is together already, one big bar. Whereas everybody else has sections of things they can choose from. So yeah, it's a bit too diverse at the moment.
Yeah. Interesting. So the other thing I was going to ask you guys, because you were at Break Mission recently, right?
Who told you that?
I don't know. I've got sources.
Yeah, I was there.
Were you guys there? You went, no?
Oh, we found him.
I was performing with you, bro.
Yeah, you were performing with me, that's true.
Yeah.
Were you at Break Mission?
I was at work.
Okay, that's cool. So, question.
You guys look cute together too, by the way. When I saw you,
thank you. Me and Kieran performed together sometimes.
Kodak moment.
So, question I was going to ask you, because obviously you were judging the hip hop category.
Yes.
So, and Litefeet is its own thing before and aside from hip hop. It's its own culture. It's its own dance style. So now, is it because it started to come to Europe that it's been accepted into the hip hop style battle wise? Or is that something that was already happening? And how do you kind of feel about that meld of that's not going to work?
No, it was already happening because we had a lot of all-style battles in New York, places like 5 Points, and of course the rep your style and different things like that. So Litefeet was being put on a platform against other styles. So, but before it was in a competitive hip hop setting, it was in a competitive all style setting, and I can say that as it has evolved now, of course it's the reason why Litefeet is so closely connected to hip hop is just because of the upbringing. The upbringing from the DJs to the fashion to the dance, like everything that culminates what Litefeet is and how it started is why it's so directly tied to hip hop. But we also have our own culture, and there's some Litefeet dancers and people from the culture that don't necessarily feel like that, but that's because they haven't branched out. So there's in the dance world, each dance style has its own, subgenre or its own bubble almost. So it's like you have Litefeet, you have crumping, you have popping, you have locking, you have, hip hop is kind of like a mixture of everything. Like we done took salsa classes and different things and all of those things kind of tie into that. And of course breaking. But I feel that with all of those subgenres, like Litefeet has kind of like made its stamp to be like, it could be a standalone dance. It could be a part of hip hop. It could be a part of all styles, and that's something that I've always wanted. Just building a vocabulary, building a level, building a dance, and multiple dances have contributed to that level being able to be on different platforms and in different settings.
And how did you find judging a hip hop category as a Litefeeter? So were you kind of more looking for like, what is my angle in terms of my expertise? So, okay, if they go into Litefeet, this is me, like, guys, I got this, like, I'm gonna tell you if they want or not. Or was it like kind of recognizing the similarities between Litefeet and hip hop? Okay, we all work on social grooves, we all work on bounce and stuff like that, and trying to recognize that as a judge between the both?
Yeah, it's really a combination. Freestyle is just free. It's like that freedom of expression. So whether I'm judging hip hop or I'm judging freestyle, whether I'm judging hip hop or I'm judging Litefeet freestyle, it's one and the same. I'm just really just looking for that stage presence, that feel, that enjoyment, that connectivity. Like the essence of it is being able to connect your dance with the music. It's like bringing the music to life, right? Because of course we have a hand clap and different things like that, but the essence of the dance comes from the music. It pushes you. So you should want to be able to, as like you hear music, you give your perspective of it, we judge it, or even if it's in a cipher where it's non-judgmental, you should feel good about it, and you should always be able to grow and build from it. So when I'm judging, whether I'm judging hip hop or I'm judging Litefeet, my narrative stays the same. I'm judging off that presence, that feel, that enjoyment of dance and your perspective of it, because at the end of the day, it's just our opinion. Like my opinion is not the only opinion. Sure. Everybody has their own opinion of what they want to see, what they and one word that's like directly connected, I feel, to opinion is inspiration. So like we find inspiration in different dances. It might be the dance, it might be the look, it might be a combination of both. But we all take a liking to different people and what they bring to the table. So don't just go out there and just thinking of like a win or a loss. Never get too high or low on anything. Just continue to do you. Like I know dancers that lost most of their battles or never really won a battle competition, but still is beloved, and everybody wants to have them to teach and different things like that. So there's different elements. Somebody need to turn their phone off. That's real rude. When we find them, we're gonna make sure. No, but yeah, it's just it's like just continue to push forward and just don't get too high or too low. Just think of the next thing and continue to push forward.
Nice. And while we're on that note, Kieran and Yuji, do you want to kind of give a little rundown of what sort of things you look for when you judge?
Can I jump back a
You
sec?
of course can jump back.
Because I think also being from the Bronx and from Harlem and like you're from hip hop, So it's not like you're in a random place and you've never seen hip hop before. So it's like no one had to tell you this was hip hop just because you grew up and people are doing hip hop all around. So it's like it's not like Litefeet is being asked to judge like some Russian traditional dance that he's never seen before. It's like, you know, like I think it's a weird one where you're already connected to it because it's in you.
And that's the essence of it. Like, you know, I come from the first generation, the party era, so it's just like before it was like like, you know, we was just like, oh, the shorties is in the spot. Right? So it's like it's about that social aspect, it's about that competitive aspect, and all of those things mean something. And yeah, it's like, you know, but judgment is like I said, is really just an opinion. Like you have to like self-belief and self-confidence is really the key, because coming up in Litefeet, I'm a self-taught dancer that was able to evolve and be able to give off my knowledge and my energy to other people, and then now be able to teach. But before all of those things, it was just like it was a learning process. So enjoy that process, like, you know, and take these moments as those moments to look back on and say, I was here in this year. Oh, that's another phone. That's crazy. But yeah, take those moments to just look back on and just be like, I was here at this point. I was able to evolve. And, you know, I think that the reason why I'm here, aside from my level and my name, is because my consistency. So just like try to stay consistent as possible, no matter what you go through in life, or, you know, anything that happens, you know, even if you know, have to veer off a little bit and do other things to make money and live, just still maintain that essence and still maintain to dance, like just dance.
Nice. You guys want to give a little rundown of what you're looking for, judge-wise?
Yeah, so with me it's quite like consistent across the board, whether it's Litefeet or any dance style. I want to see your foundation technique, I want to see your musicality, the flow of your round, the dynamics within the round, and your presence. And like everyone takes it so differently. You have like Mini Beast, who's a huge presence. She steps on and she's like this big, but with the presence of the whole stage. And then you have like someone big, and we had to tell people to look up. And it's like your dance can be so strong, but just because you're giving it to the floor, it's not being presented to anyone. So there's such a wide volume of space in that.
Just quick on that, and tell me if you disagree, but like I think when people hear presence, they think it's like a almost like an innate thing that comes out, and I don't necessarily think that's the case, where it's like you can have stage presence by looking up, you know what I mean, by commanding the space, by even just like standing a little more forward than standing back, you know what I mean? So it's like if you don't have like I'm small, but if you are smaller or you have a certain stature, you can make up for that with certain techniques. It's all kind of like body language / psychology of like how to command and hold people's attention. So yeah, just. And
I think all of those points are like a technique. Like
sure.
every one of them can be trained. It's not like, oh, you haven't got that, sorry.
Yeah. Or like I'm small, I can't hold a stage. It's not the case, you know.
We're all quite small people, actually.
Yeah. Like dancing is like you don't see many like really tall dancers, and I have an appreciation for,
go play
for those
basketball.
things.
They can't get in. They're stuck.
Yeah, they can't get in the room.
But yeah, it's just really about the moment. Like just like really just living in the moment and just doing you and being you. Like your level might not be as high as your opponent, but if you just really just like live in the moment and just enjoy what you're doing, whether you win or not, it's a win-win in either situation, because you felt good about your round, and you know, at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. If you can feel good about your round and feel satisfied with it, then because you only get one take. Like you don't get to like do it over and just be like, oh, okay, yeah, like let's reset that. Like, you know, doing a video, you can like be like, oh no, I didn't like the way I did that, and you could do it over. But in the moment, you have to just live that and be about that and live with it and move on. So as long as you guys can continue to push yourself, push each other, and live in the moment, then like you on point. You
And I
you
think
on go.
one thing that's important as well about what you're saying is like, I think people have this mentality like if they don't win a battle, like everybody's memory is erased from the beginning of the day. It's like you can not win a battle but still be everybody's favorite, or like still, you know, get an opportunity or get someone this or get invited to the next battle or get to judge the next battle, like because you killed it in the prelim. Like I've had prelims and like 3 weeks later people have come up, I didn't get through, and people have been like, oh, your prelim was sick, and I'm like, how you remember that? But it's like you got to remember that the winning isn't the only objective in a dance battle. It's art. You know, it's not like basketball where we
you never know who's watching. Like
Sure.
I dance like the way I dance in prelim and the way I dance in a final is the exact same. Like, you know, sometimes you might not get the music of choice, or you just might not feel good that day, but you just have to just have that confidence. Like the confidence is the most important thing, because the confidence will allow you to fall flat on your face and get right back up and be like, okay, I got this. Like we on to the next. But if you don't have that, then it's just like it could be discouraging. You could just be like, oh, they thought I wasn't good enough. I didn't get no woos. I didn't get no applause. And you don't want to think like that. You guys are all good enough. Everybody, like anybody can do it. Everybody has the possibility and the capability of doing it. It's just really about being consistent and staying at it and staying the course. Because if you're just looking at it as just like a momentary thing, then you lost. In the long run, you want it to be a long lasting thing. You want, like, that's how legends are created. Legends are not created by one battle. You know, you might have that one battle that or one performance that everybody looks to, but at the end of the day, it's about the body of work. It's about the consistency. So just stay the course. Like, just keep going. Like, it's not just about one event. It's not just about one Litefest. It's not just about one class. You just gotta like always be a student and continue to just chip away.
Bro, we need to take that like voiceover for like a Nike advert. That was a mad inspirational.
I work with Nike. So.
It's just like a Litefeet like tying up his shoes. Yuji,
They're gonna be so mad at me for having all this damn Supreme on.
Yuji, we didn't get to your judging. Criteria or what you look for when you're judging.
It's very, very simple. Musicality. If you're on beat, you lose a point. I mean, if you're off beat, you lose a point. 2, presence. You should be able to look me in the eye. I'm the one judging you. 3, technique. There's 3 things. It's very, very simple. So your technique is your dance, your vocabulary, everything that you can possibly do. So with those 3 things, if you don't do those better than your opponent, that's if you and your opponent can do those things on the same level, now I'm going to start judging you on what you do better than your opponent. So that's just how I judge.
Nice.
Very simple. 3 things. Musicality, technique, presence. Who's better?
And I'm going to ask you a follow-up question. For anyone that, by the time you're listening to this, maybe you've seen the videos, but there was Mr. Duracell over here, fantastic dancer. He had a battle that he lost, and he was not super happy, I think it's safe to say. Can you maybe tell us about the situation and kind of the point being why you judged the way you judged?
Okay, so like my judging criteria is very simple. Everyone knew that Duracell and Ellie were capable of performing to the highest of their abilities. So now I took it down to who does what better, to what level. So if we have these planes as Duracell and Ellie, Duracell's dance went up to here. Then a shoe trick, boom, it went up to there. Okay, nice. Ellie's dance was always here from the beginning. From she finished the end of her round, her dance was there. By the time Duracell finished his trick, his level was just there. It was very, very close. But if he did another trick, boom, it's over. She lost. You know what I'm saying? But that was the criteria for me personally. Because he just did it. But if his dance was better than her dance, he would have won already. Yeah.
And did you all 3 vote?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like for me, like it was very close. Like I said, you know, we factor in all of those things, tricks, musicality, stage presence, and all of those, and you know, everything in between. But you know, like what Yuji said, like for me, it was just really just the connectivity. It was just the connectivity, the emotion, and once again, it's just like, you know, there's no point system for the most part. Like it's our opinion. So like I said, our opinion is just, you know, how we feel in the moment. It's just that round. It's not like this person or that person is better. It was just, you know, in this particular moment to this particular song and this track, this is what we felt. So, you know, that's how I judge it. Duracell is part of my team. Ellie is part of my team. So it's just like, I try to keep it as clean cut as possible. When I'm doing anything, I'm not influenced by anybody around me or anything like that. I'm solely going off of, you know, what I feel and how I connect with both dancers when I see the movement being connected to the music.
And we're the ones sat here, but like Duracell still allowed his opinion. You guys could have all thought Duracell won that as well. And like everyone's allowed the opinion. It's not to be like, no, you're wrong and our opinion's right. Like, yeah, we're all human at the end of the day. Maybe I blinked at the exact wrong time and there was something I missed and whatever. When you go to an event, you should already know who the judges are, and that's part of it as well. Like, there's definitely times where there's been an event I want to go to and I see who's on the lineup and I'm like, nah, dead judge, like I'm not going. Or I'll go and I just won't enter. And it's part of the thing. You sign up, okay, like they're gonna judge me. Can they judge me, or do I think it'll be fair for them to judge me? Cool. When I've signed up, you're in. Then it's different if like, okay, Swiss hasn't turned up, so I've just pulled in someone else to judge. But like when you know it in advance, it's part of that. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and I think one thing I was saying to Kieran just before actually is like I think there's being being upset that you lost a battle or that you think you should have won, which is totally fair. But then what's the insulting part is if the judges don't give you the time to explain and to give you their opinion.
Of course.
I think what's cool, what I just from me seeing is like you three were like, cool, like you're annoyed, like let's talk, like let me explain. And then if Duracell's like, cool, I still disagree, I think I won, that's fine. Like that's dope, and you might be right. Like,
or anybody for that matter. 'Cause like I said, it's really just an opinion. I don't want anybody to ever get too high or low. Or like, I've either taught or worked with literally mostly everybody. Like specifically in Litefeet, and even if I'm judging a hip hop competition, I don't want anybody to get too high or low on my opinion because I'm judging in the moment. Sure. We're not judging totality. I'm not saying, yo, those 10 videos that you dropped compared to the 10 videos this person dropped. Like it's literally like right there in the moment, and you know, like I'm very expressive. It's easy to talk to me, and I felt the way other dancers felt about certain battles, and you know, been upset about it and different things like that. Yeah. So it's understandable, it's natural, but I don't want anybody to get discouraged behind it.
And
so
I feel also I don't know if you guys disagree. I think for me, like part of the job of judging is to explain your reasons. Like I've seen, I'm sure anyone that's battled here has had a judge that's been like, I don't remember, or it was just like the feeling or something like that. But like if you actually give someone the explanation, not that you can't be mad, you can still be mad, but it's like, all right, they did their job. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I'm not speaking for you, Duracell, but like,
of course.
It's like if you give that explanation, it's like, all right, you've given me the time to explain why I disagree, but cool. You know what I mean?
With that being said, if anybody would like to ask me how they can improve or why they went, or what went wrong in their battle or anything like that, hello.
With that being said, if anybody would like to go for drinks after this, we could do that too.
So Kieran, obviously we're at Litefest, so it would be stupid to not talk about Litefest. Do you want to talk to me a bit about the journey of creating this? Because am I wrong in saying it's like one of the kind of biggest Litefeet events in Europe, or the biggest in the world? No, world? Yeah. Okay, all right. Oh, he said that so nonchalant. The world.
Because I upset someone by saying that. So
did you?
Yeah.
Well,
That's
if you're
okay.
upset, I didn't say it. Kieran
That's okay.
did.
And one thing that I've learned is that like there's always going to be somebody that's upset, behind growth and evolution. And like I said, I'm somebody that's from New York, from first generation, from day one, and I've always wanted this for Litefeet to be able to evolve and be in different countries and different places at a high level, being able to be showcased, dancers coming together, uplifting the youth, giving them something to be a part of. So like, you know, that's the most important thing. And you guys can clap for that. You guys all should clap for that.
Yeah, because so Kieran, you've been running this 4 years now, right? And I feel like you and UG were like some of the first people from London to
Naruto Sasuke, I told you.
to like kind of be involved with the culture and go to New York and bring
I'm
this
in
stuff.
a little UK Litefeet sandwich right now. This is weird. This is crazy.
So yeah, Kieran, if you want to tell us a bit about like the journey of doing this, how has it been hard? Has there been moments where you're not sure how to? Because obviously, the reason I ask that is because taking something that is someone's culture, like you guys that have like born into this, built it, and then taking it and bringing it to another place where it could potentially get disconnected. And not only that, like kind of putting yourself as the, like, I'm going to run the event, like it's my event kind of thing, can be tough. And I'm just wondering what were the ups and downs of that? How did you navigate it maybe?
Yeah, like, yes, it's tough, but I have like a lot of support. UG supported me in the very first one. Since I met Swiss, like he supported all of them. Like,
Hey, who's Swiss? I missed the YouTube.
Oh yeah, Mr. YouTube. So yeah, it was just more like I was in a good position because I was already producing events when I got into Litefeet. So then for me to then be like, oh, let's do an event. Like I knew I could do it. I could write the budget. Cool. And the very first one was a fundraiser to raise the funds to bring Crybaby over. So that's why we did it. UG volunteered, so he worked for free on the day to make it happen. Debo volunteered, like, yeah, the exhibition battle, like, so it was history, like, and the goal was to bring Crybaby here so we could learn, like, yeah, it just sort of worked its way out. But then people came, so then it was all the Europeans came over, and a couple from Australia were in town that time, so they came, and it was like, whoa, and then people, when's the next one? When's the next one? And at that point, it was like, cool.
Oh, so it wasn't originally going to be an annual event? It was just a fundraiser.
It was just a fundraiser.
Okay.
Like, let's do an event, raise some funds, whatever. The day went crazy, and we're like, right, we can do this again. Let's make this a brand. Let's run workshops, etc.
That was the era of time when if you didn't learn from like a pioneer or anything, you were just dog garbage, trash. How dare you? How dare you learn by yourself? So yeah, that's why he was so hungry to bring somebody over. I remember the moments. Yeah,
I think that's kind of what I was saying as well. Like when it's not your thing, it's easy to kind of like, I don't know, check YouTube and stuff like we all do with various things, and then be like, oh, I'm a Litefeet dancer. But
Appreciate it, bro.
yeah,
I gotta check YouTube.
check YouTube. But there's I guess there's an element where you kind of have to be like some sort of like, right, I went and got it from the source, or yeah, and like for them to feel it, and like because I guess also all of hip hop is like a cultural exchange and social dance. If you're just on YouTube being like, yeah, I watched 20 of your videos, like I can do Litefeet now. Yeah. It's a bit different, even if you could. Yeah, it's a bit different from going there, seeing it in its element where it was born, and almost bringing back the essence as opposed to bringing back the moves.
And Karen was coming to the U.S. since 2016, and I met Karen in 2016, and you know I was just like more uptown and just cultivating. I was doing a weekly dance session every Tuesday and Thursday called Teen Night, and I remember like Karen coming and just like really just absorbing and just trying to understand the essence, and it went past just the how can I say, like the class setting, like learning from one perspective of Litefeet, being able to see like all different type of perspectives of it. So yeah, those things are very important, and being able to be directly connected to that, and me coming in kind of like 2018, because I was meant to judge in 2018, but I was having issues with my passport and untimely situations and tragedies and different things like that. All of those things come in life, especially coming from where we come from in New York, and there's a lot of dancers.
Can I cut you there?
Yeah.
Even in that, Mr. YouTube had a flight issue, saying he couldn't come, so he flew himself out to support the event the next year. Like,
Facts.
so that's why this event works, because we're connected to the community, and the community connect to us. So, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I met Jay Black, Kid Pat, and Larry Smooth on the bus to my house in London.
Wow.
So yeah, we're connected for no reason.
And
Why were they in London?
And
For some event in France. For an event in France, and then they happened to meet me there. So yeah,
Sick.
And that actually grew to being the first Litefeet session.
the first session. Yeah,
Because Eugene met them on the bus, and then he was like, "Oh, do you know any
Like
other
just a
Litefeet?"
TFL, just you just
yeah. I was on my way home. I wasn't supposed to get that bus. And then I was like, okay, fine, I'll get the next bus. I think I was talking to somebody. And then I got the next bus. I walked upstairs, listening to my music. I see these three strange characters. I'm like, they look weird. They're not from London, are they? I look at their faces. I'm like, yo, that's Jay Black. That's Larry
And you'd never
Smooth.
met them?
No, never in my life. I had no idea they'd be there. And then I've been watching them since I was like 15 years old.
Oh, mad.
A couple years later, I meet them on the bus. Some Americans.
And then you made a session?
And
Yeah,
then
so
we made a session, yeah.
UG hit up the rest of us who were like dabbling with Litefeet at the time, and
Like in the moment? Just like, I'm on the bus with them right now?
so then we
Oh,
all
man.
met at Charing Cross. The guys then like sort of split us in 3 groups and started teaching us different
Oh,
bits,
shit.
and then we all just danced. Like, so it is just.
Stuff.
It's crazy, right? It's that crazy, right?
But I think that's like all of this has kind of been that sort of magic, because with the years we were like, I say trying Litefeet because like we weren't like Litefeeters, but like we were trying it. It was only in 2014 a battle I did in Poland where I had a Litefeet track, so I just did what I knew. I put it on Instagram #Litefeet, and Litefeeters saw it, like Chris, Alex, Cry, Richie, and then they were all contacting me. And again, like I didn't have their contacts
that was
beforehand.
2014.
Yeah.
Wow.
Contacting you in a good way or a bad
Oh yeah, like you're doing Litefeet in the UK, in Europe. Oh my god!
Oh, it
and
was a good
And
thing.
then they were offering me help and whatever. And that's what made me feel confident to go and stay there for a month, because otherwise it's like I don't know no one there. So
Sick.
it was all just by chance. And
So it wasn't even like 100% you going there and be like, please, can I learn from? It was like these
Magical
guys
moments.
reached out and like, yeah, like I guess some fate or something.
Continuous magical moments, literally.
Yeah, it was. The first international dances that we saw in America, like in New York, was Japan. There was a crew called
Doing like feet.
Yeah, it was like they were actually doing like Harlem Shake, XYZ Boys, and then furthermore from there, we got the opportunity to meet Kieran and a lot of others, because like people like Crybaby and Keenan and stuff like that, they were teaching downtown. So like Litefeet has its own, like, I call it like a bubble, you know, like its own culture, and just like we're very specific of what we dance to. We're very specific of where we go. We don't really do all-star competitions because we're afraid we're not going to get a track that we're accustomed to, things like that. So being able to like have this wave of international dancers come in and be a part of it, and it's not just Kieran. It's a bunch of other different countries. It's a bunch of other different people. But I don't want to leave anybody out, and I don't want to shout too many people out. But with that being said, with me having a hub for where you can just find the casual dancer, the professional Litefeet dancer, and everything in between, is what led us here. And I'm just super appreciative to be a part of this and be able to see such high-level dancers that are not from New York City.
On this side note of appreciation, I did it before, but thank you, Mr. YouTube, for
yeah.
You see T Night and COL and all that. I used to live there in London. Do you understand what I mean by that? I wouldn't do anything for maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years, but watch these men on YouTube for time. I knew all their names. I knew what was going on in their lives. Litefeet was my life. Shout out to Dr. Rich as well. I've never met you, but one day.
Shout out to Dr. Rich as well.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, so if you didn't get that, so Swiss, Mr. YouTube, works at a youth center, and he opened the space twice a week. It was free training, not just free training. They gave you bottles of water and cookies just on walking in. Like, they were,
Kieran, I can't help but notice that I don't have any cookies. Just saying.
sorry, Jenny said that you weren't looking great.
Wow. Wow.
He gave people a space to grow and learn, and then when us internationals would be in town, we all go to the studio for the class, and then they would say, oh, you should check out this. Obviously, walking into Harlem can be a bit like, so not many people do it.
It was good in the hood.
And then,
it was always good, good with me. You already know that. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Thank y'all for having me. You know.
The last sort of piece of the puzzle of maybe the help, me and Yuji were kind of like a rivalry. Like, I was like learning from the source, but Yuji was more involved online than I was, and he knew more people, and his dance was better, but maybe I knew more history or whatever. And it was like, he called me out of this battle, he called me out of that battle, and it's like, oh, like, okay, let's just learn to appreciate each other.
But that's I feel like that's the beauty of it, because the way that you guys are close now and in unison from what you just mentioned from the beginning, a lot of us don't have that, like, you know, in like from the culture and from generation to generation, it's kind of like a gap, and it's just kind of like everybody has an ego. So it's like, I feel like when you can just put your ego to the side, male or female, you know, it doesn't have to be a male thing, but when you can just put your ego to the side and just be like, hey, you know, yo, I'm dope, you dope, let's work together, instead of just being like, you know. So that's the key to it. So,
And
Naruto Sasuke.
I think also was like, it's natural to want to compete. You know what I mean? It's like,
of course,
if you guys are the only two cowboys in the town, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, I want to be better than that guy. Like, it's normal. But I think I don't know if you would say this is the reason why you guys came together, but when there's like a bigger reason to come together, if it was just you guys battling and Litefeet was doing its own thing, you might still be rivals and still be hating each other or whatever. But I guess when you're like, oh, cool, but like if we stop hating each other and like actually work together, we can give all these people some stuff that, you know, that we're loving individually, like we can give that to them.
My thing with the this rivalry thing sounds bad. You guys don't really understand too deep. My thing was that we can make each other better, like so much better if we were to go at it a lot more. So we found our own groups, and he found his group, and we did those things. So now we have our youngers go against each other, and now everybody grows. So yeah, it works.
Yeah, I 100% think, like, I didn't know that was part of the thing, but for me, like, the more competition you have and the more different groups trying to outdo each other, the quicker the progress is going to be. Like, I don't know if you feel like this, but I feel like this is something that house needs in this country. Is like, we have one or two groups that are like house dedicated groups. So it's kind of like, oh, we're all friends. And it's like, there's no one like out to get each other. Whereas I feel like in Litefeet, even with Angeli and the tie-in thing and all, it's like, that's the stuff that makes you want to come back next year and smoke someone. Like, how long ago was that shoe tie-in thing? Like
2019.
And do you know what I mean? Like, and it's like, no, I'm coming back I'm going to get you for that. And that's what pushes people to train. That's what pushes people to get better. And as long as you can do that in a healthy way, I think it's sick.
That's the main thing, is that we learned how to do our we learned how to put our competitive reasons and make it beneficial to everybody, instead of just me trying to get him to get me better.
Yeah.
Like, give me a reason, Kieran. Give me a reason.
Yeah, exactly. And if you let that get the better of you, it can stop you getting better. But if you guys find a way to still, like, if you guys are battling, you're not going to be like, no, you go first. Like, I'll go first. No, me after you. But you're still going to go at each other's heads. But afterwards, you're like, all right, let's organize this workshop for the kids. You know what I mean?
It's just a healthy competitiveness in it, and you know, I think that being in a competitive setting too much will kind of like push you towards that, because like, you know, if you're like competing consistently, whether you're like, well, if you're winning, you know, everybody feels good about winning, but like if you're losing, it can kind of take you down the wrong path. And that's why I want the more social aspect for you guys, jams, parties, so that you guys can interact, socialize with each other, get to know each other, because, you know, dance is universal, and, you know, battling isn't the only element of dance, and it's not the only measuring stick of skill. So there's people that can just party and just groove. There's people that can sit and listen, and there's people that can sleep. So it's like there's different elements to it. But I want you guys to have all of those elements. And you can't have one without the other. And we want the parents to be involved too. Like I love to see the parents come and be involved and get down. We'll have Ben Gay if you need it, and Icy Hot. For all the parents that had a little back problems or the knees, and because I'm getting up in age too, so I'm feeling it too. So I want y'all to come and groove with us and dance too. But yeah, I was telling Karen that I wanted to be more of not just battle, but just a cipher and jam and party, so that you guys can just become friends. Like it doesn't have to just be like it's like I never, like out of all the battles that I have, whether it been in Litefeet or All Styles or anything in between, I've never like looked at my opponent and be like, oh, I'm just trying to kill my opponent. I'm just trying to be the best dancer that I could be in this situation, win, lose, or draw, and then we move on from that. So that's the message that I want to give off to aspiring battlers, dancers, and everything in between.
I feel like you were gonna say something. You forgot.
Slowly put my hand back down.
You're like,
With the competitiveness as well, I think what's been a great thing, but also a shame, is obviously Empire and Two Real built up quite a reputation in Litefeet in Europe, and then everyone else coming up, it's like, yeah, I want to be Two Real or I want to be Empire, and it's like, great, but we don't want that. We want you to start your own group that we're gonna want to smoke one day, and some like really close people are like, oh, one day I'll be Empire, and it's like a joke thing, but also it's like, start your own thing, like aim bigger than us. Like
it goes with influence, because like in New York it was like that for Brotherhood. Like everybody wanted to be Brotherhood, and it was just like, even if you were like a team before you got to Brotherhood, it was just like, can I be my team even if I'm Brotherhood? If not, I'm dropping my team. So it's like, it's really about the influence, and you have to take that influence and appreciate it. And like I said, I have a lot of dancers that have crossed over and become a part of Brotherhood in the UK, and I'm grateful for that. But like I said, I always want dancers to be their own individual and start their own thing, start their own movement, because that's possible. You never know who you can inspire with your dance. So that's for sure.
I just wanted to check, do we have any audience questions that are burning? Did anyone think of any? Yo.
Do that, Sal. Look what they have in my back, bro.
No. Wanna kind of like say my the part about the whole situation, and that like first I want to give a big shout out, especially what Duke was saying as well about that's what the judges should do in any sort of disagreements and situation.
Of course.
And basically, that's so big up to them, because we actually had that conversation and stuff, and I actually understand where everyone comes from, and we kind of speak about our views and differences and stuff. It was a really brief, short introduction of me. It's like the pathway I took in life. It's the battle path to the 100%. I just consider myself a Litefeet battle dancer, and I, obviously things in situation like that can run quite high, like emotion, pressure, and so on. Of
course.
Yeah, but it, even with all the analogies and stuff, like I know how it is, especially as a shoe tricker, where you need to basically live in the lab and also have like push your creativity to the maximum all the time to be able to come up with new stuff. So just a comparison about like Naruto and Sasuke, I feel like Vegapunk. So it's different sort of things, but yeah. So I totally understood their opinion and obviously respect it, because this is a competition and stuff. So yeah, big up for them. And
Thank you.
Yeah, as well as I express my feeling, and I'm 28-year man. I'm a man of my word and stuff. I didn't feel it in the moment, I said, okay, I call you out. I'm here, you know, I got all my shoes with me.
It's a lot of shoes.
It's like I can bring it any point in the front of in the street, in the gas station, whatever it is. Like I don't mind in that. But you
What
know,
he's
it's
saying
good
is he didn't back down. We just explained
sir.
the talks properly. He's just saying that, yeah, he ain't no punk. He's ready at all times if
And he
anybody
got a-
wants to
he
say
got a
something.
lot-
But
he got a lot of shoes.
I
I
want
ain't
to
packed that
like, you know, sort of like, it's good to have this sort of safe environments for things like this where people can, you know, actually express themselves and have conversation and so on. Yeah, I didn't feel that I lost in that moment. I've been that. I call you out. If you want, we can have everyone here and do it, or we can do it in the parking lot. I don't care. But it's like you know, I take this on a you know, really direct and hands-on approach with like myself in regards to training, and take it really
100%.
seriously. And you know, I get so much joy out of just creating and basically be able to get on the lens that it's not, it's for, at least for my experience, I know that I do have a job, so I know when I clock out, it's like, okay, just go back home, and it's like stay in the lab. And you know, so
Hear that?
yeah,
Stay in the lab. Stay in the lab.
you know,
Always in the
so when things like that happens, it's good to always be able to have conversation, explain where you're coming from, and you know, things that why, because when that happened, I just want to make sure it was no any sort of disrespect towards anyone, and like especially you guys.
No, you
because
know we love you.
I
Come on.
know that, you know, everyone's levels and stuff. It's
Stop that.
just
We love
my
you. Come on, you know that.
me being in a really competitional place and doing it for this competition, and so that's where I stand. That's my point, and thank you.
Thank you. And yeah, I think we can all agree, like, we've all been heated in competition before. And I think anyway, like, for me, even if a call out might have been disrespectful or something like that, but for me, it's like, that's the right way to deal with it. So I don't know if you guys took it as disrespectful. I think that's the right way to do it.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Like if I wasn't trying to run to schedule, it's like it's easy.
Yeah.
It's just that like mine and Alpra's call out was like an hour and a half that time. Like, and I didn't have time for us. Everyone's paused. We're gonna just have a call out for an hour. Like, so yeah, like that's why we can't right now. But
Yeah, just you know, it just has to be warranted. Like I said, it's an opinion, and I can you know, explain, you know, why I felt and what I felt in each situation. Like I said, I connect with a lot of dancers. I'm very hands on with everybody that I connect with. So you know, it's easy to just have a conversation about it. And like I said, I felt the same way before. So it's like, you know, it is what it is. You know, I just hope that you know, we can just continue to inspire and, you know, just move on with it.
Yeah. Anyone else have any questions before I move on?
Question.
No? Yeah, go on. Do you want to? No?
Oh.
No? Okay.
Oh, no.
All right, I've got a few questions for you, and the rule is you got to give me an answer. Okay. Cool? YouTube. Strongest country in Europe for Litefeet?
That's what I'm about to say.
We're part of
Brexit.
Europe, just not the EU.
Oh, you're
still
right.
part of the continent.
You're right. Obviously, I'm gonna have
Wait,
to,
because I want to give you guys a different question, but I want him to answer from an American perspective.
I'm obviously gonna say England. Come
Yeah.
on, UK. Let's go.
Mr. YouTube, what's from your perspective strongest country?
The UK is not a part of Europe no more. So it's
We're
like,
still part of Europe though.
you know,
We're
it's
just the organization.
No, when I
we're not part of the organization, but we're
Of the
still
continent.
there.
but like when I use my passport, they don't, you know. Okay. France, no. I'm just. I would definitely say the UK. Of course, just as far as being able to have something like this consistently with or without funding, and being on a platform, having somebody that's like very passionate about it, and you guys that are very passionate about it when it comes to the dance. So I would definitely say not just England. I'm not going to just say England. I do a lot of work in Scotland, so big up to Scotland. And so like I would say like the whole UK, even Ireland, is the strongest part.
What? Because I'm literally just asking this out of innocence. I don't know the Litefeet scene in the rest of the world, but what other countries are doing well? Like, where is it going well? Like, I would assume places like France.
Yeah, I mean, anywhere that is competitive, it's just really just about being consistent. It's hard to gauge it right now, because like we're like post pandemic and everything that's happening. So it's like a lot of dances kind of like fell off and are like coming back and different things like that. And like I said, it's been hard. Like not everybody takes like the social media route and different things like that. But you know, as the years to come, we'll be able to gauge it a lot better. But there's different pockets, you know, everywhere in Europe and in the world.
Nice. Go on.
And Japan's definitely a huge mention because they were before us. They had a whole community. They were having monthly events, like in a whole year, every event, every month. We're talking about the rest of the world right now, because they had something big before us. Like, okay, level wise, we probably, you know, we match
call out.
But otherwise, UK or Great Britain, does that include Ireland? So I know UK is a bit like, but if I say all of it, we not just Northern, all of Ireland are in there as well. Like, yeah.
GP is the best. Say something.
And for you guys, UK wise, besides Empire and Too Real, what crews are you seeing that are doing well? Who's like, if you've got like a up and comer, like potential to be great, and people that are like really killing it at the moment?
Brotherhood.
Who have you guys got your eyes on?
Swummy boys.
Brotherhood, we in the spot. Brotherhood won 2019 with Duracell. We had a bunch of Brotherhood members this year. You know, we out here. Don't ever get it confused. I don't want to curse because we can't curse on this platform, but yeah.
In terms of consistency, obviously, most of Empire are from Take One, and even there's Take One members who aren't Empire too, so probably Take One. And then because it's difficult, is like there's set Litefeet teams and then there's dance schools, which are just dope.
Exactly.
And then the other one would be Synergy. They've been strong since the beginning. Then there's a lot of strong dancers that I'm not going to mention their schools yet because they're still like in a year they've been here. Like, I need to see more consistency before everyone gets their shout outs too, because like some of these people have been like 4 or 5 years on it now.
Then we got the Lighthouse dancers also. Yeah, we got the Lighthouse dancers, which is like a combination of different dancers from all over the UK, and you know, of course, it started with the Dimension dancers, and so we building with that and keeping it going. But you know, definitely shouts to Take One, shouts to Synergy, and everybody in between, man. I hate leaving people out, man. I want to shout everybody out. It's no one without the other. We all here, man. We all inspiring each other. You guys inspire me. Like, you guys like my videos. I'll be so excited.
And Yuji, in terms of like, again, UK wise, or I mean, you can talk world wise as well if you want, but like hip hop dancers primarily that use Litefeet in their dance, who do you think is doing it right? Who do you rate that's not a Litefeet dancer primarily?
No comment.
Ooh.
I've seen.
Is there anyone?
I've seen
Like,
horrible.
There's no one that's using Litefeet in their hip hop?
That isn't a Litefeet dancer.
Everybody tries to use Litefeet that does hip hop, and they do. No, a lot of people.
I don't know anyone who's not a Litefeet dancer.
That uses Litefeet in their hip hop.
Or maybe you're reading it as Litefeet, and because it's not,
It's
we know
it's
Litefeet,
so far gone that it's not.
We're not reading it as that.
Okay, fair. Maybe I'm wrong.
I can't think of like anybody that I can like think of. Everybody like dabs in it, but
Yeah.
they only dab in it when they hear a specific track that,
Yeah,
that
exactly.
makes
Yeah,
them
sure,
think
sure.
about Litefeet. Like, whereas I Litefeet to any track, anything that I hear is like just Litefeet. And so, you know, I always say it's a difference of between doing Litefeet and being a Litefeet dancer, and it's
Sure.
and the difference is so vast, like it's so far apart that because you have to be a part of the culture to understand it, to be able to read it, to be able to identify it, aside from it just being like something that's cool, that's in the moment. You know, so yeah, I see a lot of dancers do it from you know, international to people in America that are not from New York or that haven't really necessarily learned or connected from a choreo standpoint to a freestyle standpoint. But I can't identify one person that I can specifically say, oh, that person, you know, does it all the time.
Maybe the Duke Londoners, you seem shocked by our answers. You have people in your head.
Huh?
You have people in your mind.
No, I'm
you
just
have-
thinking from being at hip hop battles. Like, there's a lot of
Yeah.
times where I see people like a Litefeet, like you said, like certain type of music.
It might be a track.
Everybody tries
Yeah.
a few steps or something like that, and like there's some people where I'm like, I don't know that I know nothing about Litefeet.
I think
But like, there's somewhere I'm like, I don't think that's it. And then some people I'm like, all right, I still don't know anything about Litefeet, but I kind of look cool, you know? Like maybe I'm just like,
So
it
you're
looks
like-
cool, but it's not.
Litefeet prospects that do hip hop. Like,
Yeah, there we
yeah,
go.
so people that could do Litefeet, you think they would be nice doing Litefeet, but they do hip hop
Sure.
right now.
I see more of
Okay.
those. Yeah, I see a lot
Yeah,
of those.
I see a couple of those, but
Yeah.
not enough. So
Not
let's
enough.
get to my point. I have a theory, and I need you as a New York OG to
Co-sign it.
exactly. Thank you. So, breaking is the father of hip hop dances. Hip hop would be the mother of hip hop dances, and Litefeet would be the child. Okay, so that was their main. That's the way that they're so connected. They're family. All right, so now they were all taught in the same way: social dances, breaking, social dances, hip hop, social dances with Litefeet, and that's kind of what makes the chain so so tight knit. The main thing is everybody needs to learn each other's styles. I would say.
Of course.
Not to the T, like that. You have to main that style, but you need to
It's-
learn each other's styles.
It's
to
so
really
it's so
have
it's so
the-
hard, and
The trifecta.
I'll tell you why it's so hard. You know, it's really hard because the mother and the father have been around for so long, and they've influenced so many people. So there's a different belief in that. You know, so it's just like for Litefeet to come in, and you know there's a bunch of other like really cool dances that we don't know whether they'll last or they'll just be for the moment. I'm very thankful that Litefeet has lasted this long, but it's hard to really compete with something that has so much lineage that people want to follow after, you know. And then once you start going and once you start building that, it's hard to just like switch up and say, oh, I'm picking up and I'm doing something else. You have to be fully invested in it. So my advice to anybody that is like, that's why I really like to connect with the youth or the inexperienced, because when you're experienced and you're comfortable, that's you. You're developing who you are, not just in a specific dance style. You're developing who you are as a dancer. You're defining who you are. So to be able to put that down and pick up something totally different just because you think it's cool is very hard. Not because you don't want to. It's just because physically you're tuned into what your style is. So my advice, like I said, is to really start young and to have the belief that no matter where you are internationally, you can be the first of, and in the next 5-10 years, you can be considered as a legend in X, Y, and Z, whatever region, country, continent that you're in outside of New York. So
Nice. I think it's probably a good place to wrap.
gang.
Damn. Yeah, so thank you everyone for hanging around. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you to the judges for a good day of judging, and tomorrow again. Thank you to Kieran for Litefest. And for
Yes,
having-
Sirski. Give it up for Kieran. Yeah.
And especially thank you for having me. Like I said, I have a podcast. It's mostly street dance based interviews. So thank you, bro. So check it out. It's the Duke London podcast, Spotify, YouTube, everything. But this is, like I said, the first live event I've ever done. So I'm super appreciative that Kieran would have me and let me do that. So thank you. And yeah, looking forward to tomorrow. And gonna be some sick battles. And I'm looking forward to it. So any last words before we wrap?
My breath is wild hot.
That's it. That's
Good
it.
evening. Oh, have a beautiful night.
Thank you, guys.
There's Big Cream on this side. They ain't cut the mic off. I'm still going. Oh, hell no. Oh, my God. Look at the legs. Just look at the legs. Look at the legs. Look at the legs. It's Supreme and in the team. It's Supreme and I'm in the team. I'm living a American dream in the UK. Coming to the stage.
If you ain't brotherhood, go to another hood.
Hey, if you in brotherhood, go to another hood. Bang, bang, it's a brotherhood. Bang, bang, it's a brotherhood.
Stupid.
If you in brotherhood,
Go to another hood.
Yeah.
Go to another hood.
And for the over 18s, if you want to get a drink tonight, I'm your guy. Love you guys. See you tomorrow. Anybody got a tic-tac, gum, breath-mint, anything? You can give me some, please.
Hold that. Yeah, I got you.
You're awake now, you're alive. It's okay. She's like, oh, no, I don't want this. I don't want this. Put me back. Put me back to sleep, please.
Okay,
No. Wait, no, I really need to get like some type of gum. Anybody have gum? Bella chum, bella chum, bella chum. I don't want to be in people's face like that.